What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bailey Kramer, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through my midterm rental deal analyzer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so what you're looking at right now is my midterm rental calculator. This is essentially the spreadsheet that I use when I'm analyzing a potential midterm rental deal, and you can go ahead and grab this exact spreadsheet down below. So just to walk you through how it works, what you can do is you put the property address here, okay? And then each tab, which you can see like acquisitions, projected revenue. These are all broken out into essentially categories or sections. So the acquisition, like what's the purchase price going to be? So let's just say a property is going to be $200,000 to purchase. Okay, you can put the down payment information, how much you're going to have to put down. And of course, this information you'll find from a lender. Most likely you're going to be putting down 20 to 25%. Interest rate is not going to be 2.5%. It's going to be more probably, at the time of recording this, like 7.5%. Amortization years, essentially, how spread out is your mortgage going to be? Is it going to be a traditional 30-year loan? Is it going to be a 25-year loan, 20-year loan? Again, if you're just doing like a traditional DSCR loan, it will most likely be 30. Closing costs, I usually estimate them at 1 to 2% of the purchase price. And then if you're going to have any rehab costs or furniture costs. Up front here, you can see the total cash invested. That's the amount of money you need to bring to closing to do the deal. Now, the next tab here is projected revenue. So what you can do is put the average monthly rate. Let's just say for this property, we're going to say $4,000 per month. And you might be like, Bailey, how do I find how much the average monthly rate is going to be? One of the simplest things you can do, again, just for a rough analysis, I have videos going way deeper into this, but go to Furnish Finder. And then let's just say we're looking at a 3-bedroom property. And let's just pretend like it's in Westminster, Colorado, just as the example here. What we're going to do is we're going to look at properties that are similar size to ours. So again, I said 3 bedrooms. So we can see this 3-bedroom is $4,000 per month. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling down. Let's see if there's any other 4 bedrooms in here. I don't see any just yet. Okay, so we see this 3 bedrooms, $3,450 per month. This 3-bedroom is $3,000 per month. 6-bedroom for $6,500 per month. So what I like to do is just, again, this is a quick example. Look at Furnish Finder, put in that average number that you see for the monthly rate. Occupancy rate, 92% is what I put in here. Why did I put 92%? Is because if you have 11 out of the 12 months booked up, that is 92% occupancy rate. So this is saying that you're going to be vacant for a whole month. And it might not be a whole month straight. It could be a week there, a week there, a week there, which just, it adds up. So 92% is a pretty safe number. So this is going to automatically calculate the total days occupied, which is 335 out of 365. Projected annual revenue, which is 44,000, and the projected monthly revenue, which is 3680. Again, because there's going to be vacancies. Then if we go over here, we're going to see expenses. So taxes, insurance. So if we go to Redfin, just as an example, and I scroll down, okay, it's going to show you your estimated property taxes and homeowners insurance. And if there's any HOA dues, you can add those in here, but I don't personally like doing houses and HOAs. Another thing, if you scroll down to tax history, you can also see how much the annual taxes were for the previous years. So if you scroll back up, we're going to see property taxes are $124 a month, and then insurance is $172. So you can go ahead and plug those in there. Water, gas, and electric. This is really going to depend on the size of the property. So if you're in my REI cash flow tribe, you can literally just ask me and I can give you a rough estimate based on the size and location of the property. Wi-Fi and TV, again, depending on the size, it's going to be roughly $60 per month. For a smaller unit, if it's larger, it could be over $100 a month. But again, you can just look up Spectrum, Xfinity, or any of the other Wi-Fi providers, and you'll get a pretty good estimate on their website. Repairs and maintenance, I like to just put 5%. Of course, this is going to change if the property needs a lot of work up front, if it doesn't need a lot of work up front. This is going to be up to you, but 5% is a pretty nice number to say, okay, $184 per month is going to go straight towards maintenance. Supplies, this could be toilet paper, sheets, towels, all the basic amenities. Now, as midterm rentals, we don't provide supplies for their entire stay, but we just provide a nice starter pack. So no, you're not going to be spending $50 every single month, most likely, but it will average out to roughly $50 a month. Again, just depending on the size of your unit. Same thing, we have pest control. Best to just call a local pest company, get a quote on that. Trash removal, going to depend location. Technology, this is things like Price Labs. These are things like Hospitable. These are things like Furnish Finder. Again, we account for it monthly. Some of the expenses are going to be annual, like Furnish Finder. Some of them are going to be monthly, like Price Labs and Hospitable. So just going to depend there. Lawn care, again, going to depend. Get a quote from someone local. Airbnb fee. So if you're going to be advertising your property and you feel like you're going to get a lot of bookings on Airbnb, I would definitely account for this. Airbnb charges a 3% fee to the owners. If you're like, you know what, we're only going to probably get a few bookings from Airbnb, but really majority are going to be off platform, then you can lower this percentage to 1 or 2% just so you have some of that built in. And then management fees. If you're going to manage it yourself, you could just put in 0. Or even if you have like a VA or something, I would still put something in there. Even if you don't pay them directly from the property, it is good to know how much you're going to make if you did have to pay someone to manage the property. And if you're someone who just wants to be completely hands off, you're going to be looking more at about 15 to 20% for someone to do it right. So then once you put in all the expenses, it's going to total up the net operating expenses, okay, which is going to show the net operating income, which is basically just the revenue minus all the basic expenses. Now, 2 other line items we have is going to be CapEx. This is essentially a savings fund that you'll put away for bigger items like roofs, water heaters, or replacing anything major. Again, only you're going to know what's needed for your property. So allocate to that accordingly. And then last but not least, the mortgage is going to automatically be calculated based on the information you put in here. Okay, so these are going to be the monthly mortgage payments automatically calculated for you, which is super cool. And then if I scroll over here, it's going to show us the good stuff. So monthly revenue, we already calculated this number before, minus the monthly expenses. And then this is going to show you the cash flow on a monthly basis and a yearly basis. And then the metrics tab is going to show you the cash on cash return, which if you also double click on it, you'll see how it's being calculated so you can understand it even more. The debt service coverage ratio and the payback period. And then if you scroll even more to the right, there's a whole chart showing you what this whole payback period thing means. So essentially what it means is, let's just say you put in the $59,000 to start, and we got that number from the total cash invested here. It's basically saying if you're going to cash flow this $11,000 per year, how long is it going to take for you to get that money back? And in this example, it's going to be 4.97 years. So basically 5 years. And this little graph to show you what that actually looks like. So there you have it. That is my midterm rental calculator. If you guys want to grab it, you can grab it down below. If you have any questions, please throw them down below so I can help you on your midterm rental journey. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.